Okay, so today we're going to be talking about our ecological footprints and the ways in which we interact with the environment, and not just how it serves us or how we use the environment, but also how the things that we do impacts the environment as well. So it's kind of both ways, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to create a mind map, and we're going to use 3 different colors in this mind map. So we're going to talk about ecological footprints, and we're going to use orange, purple, and green markers. Orange is what we're going to use for our wants. So we're going to talk about whether what we do in a day is a want or a need. So orange is want, purple is need. And then we're going to use a green marker to talk about what we can do differently or what we can suggest as an alternative to create a smaller ecological footprint, okay? So what is one thing that somebody does in their day that you just do every day and it might impact the environment? Right, so we wake up and we turn on the lights in the morning. So is that a want or is that a need? That's a want. Okay, so if that's a want, we're going to use our orange marker and we're going to say lights. Lights are a want sometimes. If it's early enough in the morning or during the day, it's a want. At nighttime, it might be a need, right? So if we wake up in the morning, we turn on the lights, how might that impact the environment? Or how might that leave a footprint on our environment? It uses energy, right? So if it uses energy and it's a want, what is something that we can do differently to use less energy or to have a smaller ecological footprint? We can leave the lights off. Exactly. So we're going to use our green marker. So if it's early enough in the morning or late enough in the morning that you can still see safely, then we don't need to turn the lights on, right? So no lights. I'm going to put that right under lights. Okay. What is another thing that we do in our day that might impact the environment? Or just anything we do, and then we can discuss that part later. We eat breakfast, right? So is eating breakfast a want or a need? A need. Okay, so we're going to use our purple marker and we're going to say breakfast. Now, if eating breakfast is a need, how might eating breakfast every morning impact the environment? What impact might that have on the environment or the earth, on the people, things like that? Exactly. So when we go to the grocery store, a lot of the foods that we buy are not local. So because the things that we eat aren't local, they have to come from elsewhere. So if you eat an orange for breakfast and it comes from Florida, for example, it would have to be flown all the way in from Florida to come to Canada for you to eat that for breakfast. So that really contributes to air pollution and things like that, right? So what else? How might eating breakfast impact our environment? The waste, right? So when we buy things from the grocery store, a lot of the time they come in packages, right? If you have oatmeal, it'll be in a box, and in the box there's little packages. Every time you want one, you use a package and throw the package away. So that creates a lot of waste every single day, right? So if eating breakfast is a need, we have to do it. And thinking about how it impacts the environment, what can we do differently to create a smaller ecological footprint using our green marker? Awesome, exactly. So we can have a garden, right? So if we have a garden and we're able to grow our own foods, we don't have to look for foods elsewhere. We have them in our backyard. We don't have to go to the grocery store to go buy them, right? And they wouldn't have any packaging. So garden. And what else can we do? We can buy whole foods, right? So we can go to a store like the Refillery District, bring our own containers, and get our groceries that way. That way we're not using grocery bags and things like that, or it's not coming in packages, right? So whole foods. All right, and what's one more thing that we can do? We can buy our food from local sources, right? So if we buy our food for breakfast, say we get eggs from the farmer down the road, or we make our own bread, things like that. If you're getting food from local markets or local farmers, things like that, you're not only supporting local, but you're also reducing your waste, right? Smaller ecological footprint. So local. Awesome. What is another thing that we do in our day? We go to school. Exactly. So is going to school a want or a need? It's a need, right? So we're going to write school. Okay. So how might going to school or the way that we get to school impact the environment? How do we get to school? How do you guys get to school? You take the bus, right? So if you're taking the bus every day to school and from school, how might that impact the environment? It creates pollution, exactly. So the buses, all these buses coming to our school and taking all of our students home and bringing them to us, that's creating a lot of pollution, a lot of air pollution, right? So how might we be able to change what we do to reduce pollution or to have a smaller ecological footprint? Exactly. We can walk to school, right? Or ride a bike. Walk or bike, right? That will reduce air pollution. It will make our ecological footprint a little bit smaller. And if you do go to school and you are being driven to school, taking the bus might be a better option than all of us having somebody drop us off at the school, because we're carpooling essentially, right? We're all on the same vehicle that's going to the same place rather than 30 different cars coming to the school. We just have one bus. Awesome. Okay, so this is an awesome start. So this is how we've started our mind map. So all of these green things, these are what we've suggested as alternatives or things that we can change. These are all the things that we can do to have smaller ecological footprints. So I want you to hold on to this idea. We're going to think about this as we go on our community walk and notice how we can change the way that we interact with the environment to have a smaller ecological footprint or leave less of a negative impact, right?
Here are some of the safety measures that you will need to follow on our walk to ensure that everyone remains safe. Pick up all the material with the tongs and not your hands. Put the material into your bag and carry the bags away from you. Do not pick up material that is broken. This means broken glass and broken plastic. Do not also pick up electronic material, including electric wires or needles. Do not pick up items that are larger than your hand or look heavy, in other words, dense material. Wear closed-toed shoes. Pick a safety partner and stay with your safety partner and your class at all times. Walk only on the path that the class is walking in. I found this empty water bottle here. What impact do you think this has on the environment if I were to just leave this water bottle here? Where do you think this water bottle came from? What do you think this water bottle is made of? What can we do with this water bottle instead of throwing it out? How can different parts of the water bottle be used for different things?
Hey everyone, so coming back from our walk, we now have a bunch of garbage. What types of stuff would we be able to do with this garbage? What should we do with it before we just throw it in the garbage and it ends up in a landfill? Do you guys have any ideas? Great idea. Yes, we could separate the garbage from the recycling. So, because as we all know, as we've learned in the past, the recycling goes to a plant and it gets recycled and reused for other things. So it works out a lot better. The garbage, on the other hand, it gets put into a dump and it's never used again or even burned in some areas, which is really bad for the environment. So what could we make out of this garbage? What should we do with this garbage? Well, first things first, before I took the garbage out and had it placed on here, I washed it because we want to make sure everything's clean because we don't want to end up with any germs or any sicknesses or anything that's really gross. We want to make sure what we're working with is clean. But what I came up with is I think would be a fun activity with this garbage is why not create some art? Create a masterpiece that you can cherish forever out of stuff that would have ended up in a dump. How great, what a great idea. So, first, we already got everything squeaky clean. We've decided what we're gonna do with the garbage. So now, let's go through and pick out some garbage and recycling. So, what do we know about this stuff here? Stuff like this wiry kind of thing. This can't go in the recycling. What out of this group of stuff could go in the recycling, do you think? Out of all this, we have a towel, we have this here. Yes, you're right. This bottle here, it's plastic. So why don't we go put this in the recycling? So now that we've sorted through all the recycling and garbage, all I've left here is garbage. So we really don't have any idea of what or any kind of direction that we want to take with this art. It's really all up to you. You can pick what you want to do. I wanted to get a little hands-on today and maybe fool around with some paint. So I think while you guys are working on your assignment, I'm gonna work on some paint, and I'll post and make sure that everyone sees the finished product about what I'm making with the paint and garbage afterwards. I think it'll be pretty cool. So one thing we want to keep remembering about the garbage is we have to be thinking about, is it a need or is it a want? Do you think this is necessary for our life? Do we need to create this garbage when we're going through stuff? Or is it just something we want that we could find a better solution for? So after we've done all this and we've looked at all this, we're gonna be going into some reflection. We're gonna think, after you're done your art piece, you're gonna think, wow, what kind of human impact have I had? How do humans impact nature? How do you think we can help help nature as humans by impacting the nature a little less and impacting the environment? Okay, now that we're waiting for our masterpieces to dry, it's time to go sit at our journals. We'll go get our journals, sit at our desk, sit at home, depending on where everything's going on. And we're going to start reflecting on how we've had an impact on nature and how humans have had an impact on nature and how we can help that. So me, just off the top of my head, one of the reasons why I did make this art piece, it's out of garbage, of course, so it's going to be some abstract art. But I've made a big tree here in the middle with some clouds out of plastic bags, a sun out of some recycling, some cardboard that was found on the road, some weeds that I'd picked out of the driveway, and this cloth as the grass. So there's some grass, the sun, the clouds. And I did this because I really love trees. I'm very interested in trees. So now I'm going to go sit at my desk and I'm going to think. I'm going to be reflecting the whole time about what have I done, or what have we done as a community to have impacts on the environment. So one thing that came to my mind about me walking around picking up garbage is just the littering alone. We're stopping animals from being able to live how they normally live. We're stopping pets from enjoying the nature. We're stopping everything. So this garbage is clogging up nature. So that's one impact we've had. Can you think of your own impacts and write them in your journals? And then we'll move on from there.
Wow, that looks great. Can you tell me a little bit more about your poster? On the walk, I realized how much litter there is in our community. Our ecological footprint must be huge. We picked up so many plastic bags. People should use cloth ones like my mom uses. You're absolutely correct. People should be using cloth bags. It's way better for the environment. Is there anything you're challenging yourself to do to help reduce your ecological footprint? Yeah, I don't live too far away, so when it's not cold, I'm gonna ask my mom if we can walk instead of drive to school. That's a great idea. Thanks for sharing.